There we go. Let's see what screen we got. We're almost there. Okay, gotcha. It started streaming. Yep, homepage. Usually takes about 15-20 seconds before it starts showing up as a live feed. Hang on, we got viewers already. Resin Nunn. Hey there, buddy. We've gone live. It's been a long time since we've gone live. Let me know if you can... SAPA, that's correct. I want to talk about SAPA. 5x5, Resin Nunn, would be nice. Let me know if you can hear me okay, or if I need to adjust my volume or make changes. Okay, okay, thank you, Jimmy. Give me a call if you need something. Hang in there with us here on YouTube. Okay, gotcha. All right, thank you, Jimmy. All right, bye. Okay. Yes, you're good. Awesome. Okay, I actually set up a 2-monitor system, even though it's somewhat makeshift. And the other one's way above my head here, but at least there's room for it. So that way I can actually monitor the chat while I'm actually doing stuff on the screen here, and without you guys seeing me to infinity, because no one needs that, right? So, okay, anyone who's here, go ahead and chime in. Let me know you're hearing okay. Resin says he can hear me. If anyone else chime in, let me know you're here. Don't be shy. And yes, we're going to be talking about SAPA. Let's close out of Discord. Rockin'. Ryan S. Hi, good. All right, excellent. Thank you, Ryan. And thank you from Jimmy D. Jimmy D is my partner in crime in all things SAPA and Second Amendment. And also a very valued member of the community here, and also a mod. So thank you for joining us, Jimmy. Okay, Parker, 1776, 5x5. Awesome. Okay, it looks like we got 7 people watching right now, so I'll go ahead and get started. I know probably we won't have a big audience in the middle of the day. Thought I'd get out some information, though. We have confirmation now, and by the way, the page that you're looking at right now, basically, and you know what, I should probably edit the title of this video and everything. This has nothing to do with the last live stream I did. This is about SAPA. It's time to talk about the Second Amendment, gang. So what we're talking about here is the Second Amendment Preservation Act. So just so everyone who's tuning in knows what this is about. And the 10th Amendment Center has actually weighed in. We actually have confirmation they've weighed in. And I'll tell you what, let me get this page copy. And since we're live and everything, I will get you guys on the same page with me. There we go. If you guys click on that, you should be able to get to the same exact page I'm looking at. And what we're looking at here is the Missouri Sheriff's Association is working to kill the Second Amendment Preservation Act. And through a variety of mechanisms, mostly through sheriffs, but it's through, not to put too fine a point on it, I'm trying to choose my words carefully. I probably shouldn't. It's through money, gang. It's through money. It's through federal funds that flow through the Sheriff's Association, goes to the sheriffs. And, of course, the Second Amendment Preservation Act is about getting the federal government out of any type of Second Amendment law enforcement in the state of Missouri. That's what it's about, right? We want the Fed out. Well, the Missouri Sheriff's Association strongly disagrees, and surprise, much of a surprise to all of us, that they're constantly trying to get money from the federal government to re-grant to our sheriffs here in Missouri. So does it surprise any of you that the Missouri Sheriff's Association is evidently lobbying? Thank you very much, Rebel Cry. 5x5, excellent. Does it surprise any of us that the Missouri Sheriff's Association is actually actively working against the Second Amendment Preservation Act when there's money on the line? Because gosh only knows we cannot have rights if basically there's a threat to remove federal funding, right? So I am not going to make accusations with this video. I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that I've told you guys from the very beginning, full disclosure. Whenever there's information that's available that's pertinent, I will get it to you, right? I've always made that promise to you. And Jimmy and I have been working this real hard. So one thing I would sure like to see, if you guys can, chime in on this. Some of you are in Missouri, some of you are not. However, anyone who's not in Missouri, this is pertinent to you as well, because in your state you could be doing the same thing, and you could be running into the same problems. And if you run into the same problems, you'll have a heads up on what problems you'll run into based on what we run into here in Missouri. And the resistance seems to be coming from a Missouri Sheriff's Association and through some sheriffs. By the way, it's very important that I stress here at this point, not all sheriffs are against the Second Amendment Preservation Act. That is true. We do have some sheriffs that are very much in favor of this. In fact, I can name some, Camden County. They're for SAPA. That's the only one. There are more, but that's the one that comes to mind immediately. Newton County, Missouri, for SAPA. So, if you guys know what I'm saying here, there are some good sheriffs that are definitely Second Amendment minded. Here's the problem we run into. People like Sheriff Arnott in Greene County, where he says he is pro-Second Amendment. But apparently he's only pro-Second Amendment if, basically there's money in it. And as soon as there's a possibility that federal funding may dry up if he supports the Second Amendment Preservation Act, then he changes his tune. So we have a name for people like that, don't we? So at any rate, you guys chime in. Tell me what your thoughts are so far. And by the way, this is important to talk about. It is actually important to talk about on many levels, and I'll tell you why. Right now, we are being attacked. The stuff that's happening with shootings right now has absolutely fueled the attack on our Second Amendment rights nationwide, not just in Missouri. So this applies to all of us. So Biden wants police to take your guns without a warrant, and you'll allow it, it says. And by the way, since I'm going to go ahead and since we're live and everything, and I didn't prepare very well for it, I'll get you guys these articles that I'm showing. And we need to continue on here. This is just the beginning. Let's see. Democrats introduce gun registration bill, the first step in gun confiscation laws. If you guys want, I'll tell you a theory. Okay, we got a couple of things here. The shooting seem at the USA. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Polhammer. Could you specify? Biden in office and the shooting went crazy. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. In fact, it was almost predictable. As soon, and people will say, well, that's because they relaxed COVID restrictions. Okay, gang, I got to start choosing my words carefully. You guys know I got a warning and a strike by talking about the beer flu. So I need to watch my language very closely as long as I'm on YouTube on that stuff. Self-censorship, unfortunately, on all things beer flu. Otherwise, you get a strike. It comes against you. Yes, sir, I mean, this all seems very strange. Yep. And so registration is what this is all about, gang. It's about registration. It always has been about registration. If you look throughout, literally the 20th century, registration first, and then followed by red flag laws and confiscation. It worked. It worked for, Russia, worked for, actually China. I don't think China did that. Turncoat. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We as a society have to, because this stuff is coming at us hard and fast right now, gang. And by the way, I've been criticized about this. I know I have, and I don't want to criticize my peers, if I can even be considered a peer to a lot of those gun channels out there. This isn't truly just a gun channel or a Second Amendment channel. We cover other things here. But we've been completely unable to get any of the big gun channels, I don't think I need to name them, to actually help us out to bring attention to the Second Amendment Preservation Act. And it's not just for us here in Missouri. Every state should be doing this. Every state. So, and yet we don't have that. We don't have that mentality going on with the big gun channels, because it seems to me that it's not profitable for them, maybe, to actually provide solutions rather than just talk about problems. Lots and lots of Second Amendment fear porn, brings in the clicks and the monetizations and everything. We're not about that. We're about actually getting solutions and keeping our rights before they take them away. And I can't wait for Jared at Guns and Gadgets to, keep talking about calling your senators in D.C. and your reps in D.C., making your voice heard. These are the very people taking your rights away from you, and you're supposed to grovel in front of them, I suppose, and ask for your rights? No, thank you. We don't have time for that, because this is happening too fast in Washington. But in this particular story right here, we're talking about gun registration. My theory is this. There's a lot of gun bills in D.C. right now, and I mean a lot. I think you guys know this. And I think what they'll do is they'll drop almost all of them and say, okay, we're just going to do gun registration. We're just going to do that. We're not going to tax your firearms. We're not going to take them away. We're not going to make your AR-15s and AK-47s illegal. We're simply going to force you to register your guns. And by the way, they don't have to force me. All they have to do is go to the stores that I purchased the guns at and go get that information right from the stores. By law, they have to keep that. Let's see. Parker says the infringement began in 1934. Every gun law is unconstitutional. Parker, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And that's why the Second Amendment Preservation Act can actually, make a very, very big difference in your state, because you can actually get rid of all those gun laws when you have the Second Amendment Preservation Act. So it's important stuff. And, okay, going back to what I was talking about on my theory, I think that they just want registration. That's what they want to get done in Washington this year, because everything else is so easy after that. Everything else becomes very easy. Anybody know if Clay County Sheriff supports? I don't know. Let's see if I can... no, I can't get to that right now at this time easily. Ron Calzone is putting up a map of known supporters, known people against the Second Amendment Preservation Act, those who aren't responding to questionnaires. And good question, Jimmy D. What states are represented in this room? Shout out to us, guys. Let us know what states you're in. And by the way, this Missouri for Jimmy D. I'm in Missouri as well. Timmychung is in Missouri. I know that Resin is in Missouri. Mo first, Missouri first. That's right, Parker, 1776. I'm suspecting that you're in Missouri as well. I don't know if you were referring to Ron Calzone's website, MissouriFirst.org. But PA or RA Polhammer, where are you located at, buddy? Rebel Cry, where are you at? What state, if you don't mind saying? So this is something that we can work on in every single state. And once again, guys, you see what I talk about on this channel all the time. You starve the federal government. You starve the federal government, especially when they're getting tyrannical. And the way you starve the federal government with the, Second Amendment is with the Second Amendment Preservation Act by using the anti-commandeering doctrine. Your country's Austria. Okay, gotcha. All right, not even in the United States. We're happy to have you here anyway, as you get to see us, basically fighting for our rights here. Boru in Connecticut. Okay, let's see. In Missouri for Rebel Cry. Okay, gotcha. So we got quite a bit of Missouri contingents here out of the viewership right now. So, and also in Austria, love that you're here listening in on this. As you know, with that we're the gun culture here in America is big. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. I know a lot of Europe gets basically hammered with propaganda saying it's like the Wild West in America. You don't know if you're going to get shot if you walk down the street. Nothing can be further from the truth. Well, actually, that might be true in Chicago. In Chicago, Illinois. It certainly is not true in Missouri. So, okay, so once again, finishing up my theory, I think that registration is what they're going for. They'll drop everything else if they can get registration through. And that is, I think, their MO. Their modus operandi is literally just to actually get registration through on a federal level. And if we don't have SAPA in Missouri, we'll be subject to that too. And that will happen very quickly, because if they do the gun registration bill, they'll be able to go to all the firearms dealers and get all that information, literally from the firearms dealers. So it's not about you coming forward and registering your guns. They can get a lot of data right away from the gun dealers. And then when you're talking about, let's see, Boru says, hope you don't mind, I'm coming to Missouri. No, we'd love to have you, man. Show up in Missouri here. Yeah, let's see, never be a subject. I agree, Parker. And RJ said, just north of you in Sedalia, Missouri. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm in the south of Springfield, Clever, Nixa area. So that's the area I'm actually in. So, gang, so basically to swing, well, actually, I won't swing back yet. I'm going to cover a few more things. HR 127, firearm ammunition licensing, registration, banning of certain ammunition. It's like what they're going through in California. So it's like the Californianization of America, where they gave up all their rights, didn't they? So, let's see. New shootings plunge Biden Congress into gun control debate. Of course it does. Of course it does, because we didn't have shootings for quite a while. Now they've come up again. And guys, here's another one I want to talk about. It's actually really important, and that is for us to understand a couple of things here. We have here in the United States 3 branches of government, and I'm saying that not for most of you, but for the guy in Austria who may not know how the government actually operates in America. You probably do, but I'll say it. We have the executive branch, that's the president and the vice president, the cabinet, and all the things under the cabinet. That's under what we call the executive branch. We have the legislative branch, which is our Senate and our House of Representatives. And then we have a judicial branch, which is represented by the Supreme Court and all the courts underneath the Supreme Court. And those 3 branches of government actually make up our federal government. And we have in America right now, and I'm going to prove that to you right now, all 3 branches of government coming for guns. We have the Ninth Circuit Court actually saying that Americans have no right to carry guns in public, concealed or otherwise. And so that's a problem. We have, and let me go back to this one here. New shootings plunge Biden Congress into gun control debate. Well, we already had Biden presenting all kinds of stuff, and then now we have Congress coming up with bills. So we have all 3 branches of government against the Second Amendment now. And I can't remember when that's happened before in my lifetime. But that is a very, very bad situation. Let me see what we got here. Cool. If a law is unjust, not only is a man right to disobey it, he is obligated to do so. Thomas Jefferson. Yep. Let's see. That dude's in a kilt. Yeah, it looks like it. So, 3 branches of government, and they all want strong gun control laws to be passed. And legislating from the bench, which is what the Ninth Circuit is doing, is something that we have considered in bad taste here in America, but it happens all the time. Let's see, Second Amendment Party, and nobody invited me. Man, bear, pig. Or man, pig, bear. Sorry about that, buddy. Second Amendment Party, and you are invited. Sorry, I don't know enough to put out a thing in advance so it shows up in your feed that there's going to be something live. And this was an impromptu thing that Jimmy and I decided to do here. So we thought and you guys will have access to it after the fact as well. So let's go here. Gateway Pundit, they're coming for your guns. White House confirms Biden will sign gun control executive orders. Here we have a real serious problem here, gang. Real serious problem here. Now, Trump did some of this crap on his watch. What he did by banning bump stocks and then going after gun braces, and effectively that didn't happen, so I get that. But just by going after bump stocks, something as little as that, and by the way, bump stocks suck, but it is an infringement, isn't it? So if you like bump stocks, you were really infringed upon. I don't like bump stocks, but I still feel like I was infringed upon. But what this means is we set up a precedent for the President of the United States to actually sign gun legislation through executive fiat, through executive order. This is a problem, because if he can't get something through the Congress, he can get it through, on his own desk with pen and paper. You can just get it done. And unfortunately, Americans have become accustomed to this as becoming law, where it is not. It is not law. It never was intended to be law. The original reason executive orders were allowed for is back when it took Congress a month to assemble, when they had horses and buggies and that sort of thing. And if the president needed to do something like that, go to war, we were just attacked, he could, by executive order, say, okay, we're now committing to war. And then basically, and we'll get to this SAPA update here in a second, guys. I'm just kind of setting up for it. But basically, with the SAPA update, we have the sheriffs and the Missouri Sheriff's Association at this moment meeting in Jeff City right now and tomorrow, trying to water down the bill. That's what they're doing right now. They're trying to water it down. So let's go through the amendments proposed by the Missouri Sheriff's Association. And by the way, all of you watching here today, you have more power than the Missouri Sheriff's Association, but you got to make phone calls. You've got to start, making phone calls, writing letters, visiting Jeff City. I just talked to Ron Calzone earlier today, by the way. Visiting Jeff City is by far the most powerful thing you can do if you can make a visit and knock on doors and talk to senators. And it doesn't have to be just your senator. You can go talk to any senator. So let's talk about the amendments being proposed by the Missouri Sheriff's Association. Number one, change the federal gun control to just future. What that means is basically, we'll keep all the gun laws that are on the books right now, but any future things that are done, we won't acknowledge in the state of Missouri. I'm sorry, that's a non-starter for me. That really is a non-starter. But that's one amendment that they're proposing. And by the way, they're up there proposing it in Missouri, in Jefferson City, right now. And they're working on it yesterday, today, and tomorrow. A legal trick to continue enforcement of everything, and basically without statutory basis. So the Fed claims every executive order, every administrative order, rule, and regulation has a statutory basis. So that basically invalidates if that goes through. That's correct, Parker. We're going to talk about that in a little bit here. Resin Nunn had a point. I really need to get to what they're doing right now, and then we could talk about that afterwards. So basically what they're doing with the legal trick to continue enforcing everything is by changing some of the words around so that every single executive order is allowed through SAPA. Every administrative order allowed through SAPA. Rule and regulation, that almost always comes from the executive branch as well through BATF, also allowable under SAPA. Well, that just destroys SAPA, doesn't it? I mean, that really invalidates it. No, that's not true, TC, because we're saying that whatever laws they do through Congress won't be allowed in it. We're saying everything but that. Same thing, gang. We've already, once again, this is why I did the setup the way I did. Executive orders. Biden's already saying he wants executive orders on gun control. So, once again, forgive me for the setup the way I did it, but that was to get you ready for this. You guys all have access to this. It's the first link I put up. This is from the 10th Amendment Center. So, law-abiding citizens. So that needs to be addressed and changed, because basically you're not a law-abiding citizen because you're breaking federal law by possessing a firearm or a firearm accessory that's been banned in the first place. They want to allow that into SAPA. Once again, this is the Missouri Sheriff's Association wanting to tamper with SAPA, gang. This isn't stuff that's necessarily going in. These are the amendments that they're proposing right now in Jefferson City. Right now. They're meeting right now. And I talked to Ron this morning. He was on his way to Jeff City. And MSA's up there too. And then number 4, fake legal remedies for people. With a cause of action against the President of the United States. This is totally irrelevant in a bill that dictates that Missouri officials can and cannot do in regards to the Second Amendment, and would in no way punish state officials who violate the law. Once again, we got to have teeth. We got to have teeth in our bill here, gang. We have to be able to go after people who infringe on the Second Amendment. And that's another thing the Missouri Sheriff's Association wants taken out of the bill. That's right. A 501c3 organization is dictating to our senators while we're doing this podcast right now live. It's 3:03 p.m. And right now, while we're doing this live thing, we have the Missouri Sheriff's Association dictating to our senators what should and should not be in the Second Amendment Preservation Act. So what this tells us, I'll paraphrase here, is they're absolutely cutting the balls off of the Second Amendment Preservation Act if they have their way. That's what the Missouri Sheriff's Association and some sheriffs, like Sheriff Arnott, Sheriff Cole. Why? Why are they doing this? Money. They want money, gang. And they want their federal funds coming in through the Missouri Sheriff's Association. So if they can get that federal money, they'll do whatever the feds want. You cut off the flow of money, and then suddenly they can't do everything they wanted to do. Let's see. Resin Nunn says, I done with the Fed, all about the state. Yep. Resin, I'm there too. We need to fight for it, though, because apparently the Missouri Sheriff's Association is in there really, really trying to bend these senators. And I don't know who. I can't tell you which senators are going after, but they're trying to get senators to approve this junk that I'm reading to you right now. What's next? And after this, we'll talk, okay? Grassroots pressure will be crucial. Once again, not from Timmychung, not from Ron Calzone, not from Jimmy D, from the 10th Amendment Center. This is their advice to us as Missourians. Contact Senate Pro Tem Dave Schatz and firmly but politely tell him we need the strongest Second Amendment Preservation Act possible as a response to Biden's promise to infringe on our rights to bear arms. So you remember now, I should have pinned that link, and maybe I figure out how to do that real quick. It's the first link I put in, because here's where you get a hold of him, by clicking here. And let's see. Second, contact your own state senator with the same message. Once again, guys, I mean, I've got it here too. I will put this up in the chat real quick before I forget about it. This is your senator in Missouri. This is for Missouri. Once again, this is not a federal deal, gang. This is Missouri only. So there's a list of senators in Missouri. Third, contact your sheriff and let them know that protecting your constitutionally guaranteed rights is far more important than partnering with the federal enforcement priorities. They should support the Second Amendment Preservation Act and oppose watering it down as the Missouri Sheriff's Association is trying to do. We have got to get with, literally call our sheriffs. This is on them. So, okay, but that's the meat of what I have for you guys. Let's start a discussion here. I got Matt from Burleson's office on the phone. Excellent, Jimmy D. Excellent. So maybe we can get Burleson to either get on the live stream or to chime in somehow, so we could talk to him, because they're attacking his bill. They're attacking his bill. So once again, gang, just so you know, the Missouri Sheriff's Association has decided that their opinion is more important than yours. Everyone who lives in the state of Missouri should be just fumingly angry right now. They're trying to change. And by the way, here's my opinion, gang, and I've been honest with you. I have worked this bill. I have worked with people working the bill. And here's my opinion right now. If they want to make these changes, we drop the bill. There is no reason to have it. There just isn't. I mean, this is literally neutering the bill, effectively. What do we have left when all this is done? Nothing. Particularly if we can't go after people who infringe on people's Second Amendment rights. So we should all care a great deal about this bill. We should all be making phone calls. And once again, guys, this time I feel vindicated. This isn't Timmychung, advising you guys to contact your the Senate Pro Tem. This isn't Ron Calzone sending out an email. This isn't Aaron Dorr. This is the 10th Amendment Center. They see the threat to the Second Amendment Preservation Act right now, and they've put this out today to warn us that what's coming from the Missouri Sheriff's Association and really what we can do. But I need to add one more thing. Yeah, do all these things that are here on this, but also if you have the ability to, please visit Jefferson City. And don't talk to just your senator. Talk to as many senators as you possibly can and tell them how important the Second Amendment Preservation Act is to you and why. Why? Guys, why do we want this? Because we have this kind of crap going on. Biden wants to take guns without a warrant. We have Democrats introducing gun registration bills. Registration equals confiscation, gang. You know, I understand, you know, to a certain extent why the stores want to hold that data, but you don't want it going to the Fed. You don't want it going to the Fed. I mean, they need a warrant. They need a warrant. You know, if I go haywire some way and I take a gun and I commit a crime with it, you know, basically they find the gun and they don't find me. Well, they can track that gun back to me with a warrant through Off Now. Okay, gotcha. All right, Jimmy D, if you have any critical data on this, let us know. Hopefully the senator can make some time. You know what? I don't think he's going to be able to make the time. They got meetings going on up there right now. So I don't expect Burleson to get on right now. I would love to chat with him, though. Believe you me. So what are your guys' thoughts on this? This is happening in real time right now. Missouri Sheriff's Association surprised us all and decided that they want to have a lot of say in this bill. The Missouri Sheriff's Association, a 501c3 organization with less than 12 employees, wants to have more say in this bill than all of you. What do we do, gang? You know, basically, well, we know what to do. So chime in, everyone. Actually, I'd love to hear some of your thoughts on this, other than, you know, just anger, ideas. Can anyone go up to Jeff City? Jimmy D and I are probably going to go up there very, very soon. There should be no data for them to hold. You should be able to buy a gun at a hardware store in Idril. Yeah, I understand that. Senator is not available. Matt may be watching now. Okay, hello to you, Matt. If you're watching, nice to have you here. We're talking about the Second Amendment Preservation Act, and if you're watching, that is. And also from the 10th Amendment Center, what the Sheriff's Association is doing to try and neuter this bill. And so I'm sure Senator Burleson is neck deep in meetings right now trying to fight for our rights. And I'm hoping he's doing so right now. I know that Ron Calzone's up there, and there's a lot of other folks up there right now fighting too. So can anyone make any trips to Jefferson City? Does anyone live close enough? And by the way, you don't have to wait for Jimmy D or I. If you guys want to set up a day and a time for all of us to go up together, knock on some doors, talk to some senators, we're game. If anyone knows of a time that it would be good for them, by the way, that would be the most impactful thing you can do at this point. If you can't, you absolutely cannot visit Jefferson City. Remember now, at the bottom of this document, contact the Senate Pro Tem, Dave Schatz. Contact your own senator, of course. Contact your county sheriff and let them know that protecting your rights is more important than partnering with federal enforcement priorities. Yep, Eric is a good guy. RJ, I'm close. Okay, RJ, if you're close, you know, basically you want to make if you're close, if you could make an appearance, you know, like once a week or something, that'd be awesome. Once again, Jimmy D and I are discussing a time to meet up there. It's going to happen very soon, though. It's not enough time to get something big going, because it's probably going to be within a week, most likely. We're also waiting to hear the outcome of the current meetings going on right now. And Parker, Eric is a good guy, an Oathkeeper. Yep, we like Eric. Eric Burleson is once again the sponsor of the Second Amendment Preservation Act in the Senate, and I'm sure he wants to keep this bill clean. He does not want this bill infected with crap that puts the camel's nose inside the tent. Same thing with Jared, but it's out of Jared's hands now. It's in Eric's playground now. So Eric's fighting for us. Okay. So RJ, I'll tell you what, we may need to contact you or something, and I think it'll be very soon. I'll announce when and if Jimmy D and I are going up there. If you guys want to join us to go knock on some doors, this isn't a rally. This isn't a protest. This is literally talking to talking to senators, literally going inside their offices and talking to them about why we want the Second Amendment Preservation Act. Be glad to go to Jeff City. I'll go. Let me know when a large or small group can go too. Awesome. Okay. All right. Got your email there. So I will copy that. And hopefully, yep, back on my main PC now. And actually, I can't paste it yet, but I will paste it. Yeah, let's get a contingent together. We've done it before. Yes, we have, Jimmy. We got some pretty good memories from going up there, actually. We had a good time. And then, maybe we could even... Ron is up there all the time. Rub will cry. Work Monday through Friday, so I can't go. I understand that. When I went before, I took time off of work to go up there, so I had to take time off of work too. But Jimmy D, yeah, we reminisce once in a while about some of the stories we have up there. There's some really, really nice folks up there, gang. But I think that some of these folks are listening to the MSA, Missouri Sheriff's Association. And so we need to make sure that they hear us. In that we're not a 501c3, we're just Missouri citizens that literally are demanding that our state senators stand up for our Second Amendment rights that are as defined in the Constitution and guaranteed in the Constitution, given to us by God. That's what we want. And if we have senators or sheriffs that aren't willing to go that far, I'm sorry. I can't do that. I'm Second Amendment. Yeah, I'm Second Amendment all the way, but I don't want to lose my federal funding. Well, I'm sorry. We need to know your name so we can expose you and make sure that you are not elected next cycle. It doesn't matter if you're a sheriff or a senator. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. If they won't protect your Second Amendment, once again, they swear an oath. They swear an oath to defend and protect the Constitution. Yes to the citizens. To hell with the MSA. I agree. Timmy? I think my dog just went in my parts closet over here. He's making a lot of noise. Guys, if you remember, I had a dog that was usually in frame when I did a lot of videos over my left shoulder. That was Ebony. Fortunately, Ebony's not with us anymore. I had to put her down last week. Actually, week before last. But at any rate, I still have Timmychung though. So, just to let you know. But Jimmy D, yes, the citizens, to hell with the MSA. I agree. You know what, guys? I mean, this really breaks my heart. This absolutely breaks my heart that this is going on right now. And it's over money. It's over money, gang. For the love of money is the root of all evil. If there is a single senator or a sheriff that literally says no to the Second Amendment Preservation Act, and we can tell that they're doing this because of federal funding, they need to leave office. They need to be gone. They do not represent the Constitution anymore, which is what their oath tells them they have to do. Protect and defend the Constitution. And I realize that applies to most Democrats in office. I get that. But if we have turncoats in the Republican Party, like I said, it's about money to further militarize themselves. Yeah, it's about money. I agree. It is about money. So what do we do? Basically everything that says here in this document, that's what we do, gang. We make trips. I mean, we have to start showing up in Jeff City because that's what the MSA is doing. Spread the word to everyone. That's right. And that's incumbent upon all of us. Guys, Jimmy D and I went on a big concerted effort to actually try and get... Guys, how do I say this? We tried to get some of the big Second Amendment channels involved. And it was a very big effort on Jimmy's and my part, but they clearly are not interested. They absolutely are not interested in not only promoting the Second Amendment Preservation Act, or even just talking about it, or literally saying, hey, listen, my channel's really more about this or this, but hey, there is a guy who's talking about Second Amendment Preservation Act. You may want to check out his channel. and see what you can do in your state to get that. They won't even do that, gang. All these channels that claim to be pro-Second Amendment. I don't want to call them out individually. I said that earlier, but I have to on one. Legally Armed America, a petition. Really? A petition? To try and get federal government to stop taking away your rights? Oh my God, Legally Armed America. You are wasting your time. You are wasting your time. So let's see. We'll make more calls. All of us need to make more calls, Resin. Agreed. And also, too, basically, you don't have to limit yourself and email. Actually, here's the pecking order. Email is the lowest. Phone calls next. And then basically a visit. That's the most potent thing you can do, is physically visit. That will have the biggest impact. And I've heard this from multiple people. Senators. I've heard it from representatives. I've heard it from lobbyists. I've heard it from all kinds of folks. That is, if you have the ability to physically show up and shake a hand of a senator and sit down in his office and explain to him why you want this or why you want that. Guys, it's not enough to say, hey, I'm pro-Second Amendment. I want the Second Amendment Preservation Act. You really need to let them know you're really concerned about what the federal government's doing right now. You're concerned. You're frightened that this is going to get handwritten letters also too. That's right below a visit. Thank you, Jimmy D. So email, that's the lowest on the pecking order. After email, then you have phone call, and then above that you have a handwritten letter, and then above the handwritten letter is a personal visit. So they're impactful on that level. Visit is first for impact. Natural rights are inalienable, i.e. untakeable. Well, someone better talk to Biden about this, and also our current Congress in the federal government, because they're gearing up to take these things away. At least that's what they say they want to do. Hell yeah, we're going to take your AK-47. Hell yeah, we're going to take your AR-15. Remember Beto? Yeah, they're doing it. They're making it happen right now. And we have an attorney general that is not very gun friendly. Guys, they're setting up, literally, they're stacking the deck right now as we're talking here. Parker, the Fed doesn't agree. Let's see, Parker. Natural rights. Yep, that's right. The Fed doesn't agree with that. They want to take away our rights. Okay, so we realize now the DAC is being stacked against us in D.C., and right now the MSA, Missouri Sheriff's Association, is lobbying in Jefferson City to take away your rights. To water down the bill so you can't protect your rights. So the state of Missouri can't have, you having all these rights. So, gang, we have to be activated. We have to get stuff done here. This isn't we can't sit at the couch here and just hope things, turn out for the best, which is what I call the cross your fingers policy. And I'm sorry I did this during the day. I knew we weren't going to get a whole lot of viewers during the day. But this evening I'll be on another live podcast. So I can't be doing this tonight. But I want you guys to know, let's see, too far for a visit. Sorry, guys. Okay, understood, Resin. Handwritten letters and phone calls. So basically, if you could do some of that, that would be helpful. Anyone in Missouri, and also, too, anyone in other states, start this Missouri Second Amendment Preservation Act legislation. Yep, understood, Resin. I got you, buddy. It's a long drive for me, too. It takes me, 3 hours and 15 minutes to get there? I think it's the same for Jimmy D. So it's not a quick trip. I'll make it, though. And Jimmy D and I were there last year. Multiple times, actually. Anyone want to get with me tomorrow? I'll tell you what, that's impossible for me because I have a scheduled job I have to do tomorrow, RJ. Otherwise, I would go. I was thinking about that because tomorrow is a critical day. Tomorrow is a day that if I did not have this scheduled work, let's see, I've sent 10 this year. I will send more letters. All right, thank you, Resin. Actually, I got to be honest with you guys. I've only sent a letter to Schatz. I haven't sent a letter to anyone else. I've made a lot of phone calls, though. So that's what I've done. I've made a lot of phone calls. I have not been up to Jeff City this year yet. Full disclosure. but I am going very soon, and so is Jimmy D. Generally, Jimmy D and I are good friends in real life too, so, we try to sync up our trips. So that way we get to see each other, have a cup of coffee and all that fun stuff. And, but we have important work to do up there. Tomorrow would be a good day to go up, and I'll tell you what, I think in the next day or two, I will have more news for all of you. So, I don't know what it'll be yet, though. But like I said, there's a lot of MSA activity crawling. The MSA folks are crawling around Jeff City, gang. Vermin creatures, crawling around the halls in Jeff City, trying to water down our all-important Second Amendment Preservation Act bill because it's just not palatable to them. So I imagine, this is what I'm imagining, guys. I'm not saying I have inside knowledge on this. I don't. But what I will say is I imagine someone in the Missouri Sheriff's Association is probably talking to someone at the federal level. And they're saying the federal level is telling the Missouri Sheriff's Association, you better shut down this bill or we're going to shut off your funding. And then suddenly the Missouri Sheriff's Association becomes irrelevant. They don't have money to re-grant to the sheriff's office that they've been getting from the federal government. So a small group of maybe 6 or 8 people shutting down our Second Amendment freedoms so that they can exist as a 501c3 organization, padding their pockets with nice salaries they get off the federal government grant money, and then regifting it all to sheriffs. That seems to be their MO. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, let's see, we'll probably wrap it up here. Let's see, Jimmy's saying thanks to Resin. Yes, thank you, Resin. Thank you, all of you that are helping make this happen. I do it for all of us. Yep, Resin, same reason here. Same thing with Jimmy, too. Is, my grandkids don't have a voice in this. I'm going to have to fight so that they can keep their Second Amendment rights. You all have to fight for your kids and your grandkids. Because the fight is right now, and this fight is not going to wait 20 years until they're of age and understand this and can go fight for it. So we have to fight for them now. It's not just for our rights, gang. It's for all of us. Let's see. Do I stand out there with a sign or knock on doors or both? RJ, just go up literally into the Capitol building and literally just go inside the offices, ask if the senator has time to talk to you. You don't have to set up an appointment or anything. So that's what Jimmy and I do. Just go to their offices. And I'll give you an example of what it's like. When Jimmy D and I were up there last, we literally their office doors were usually open. So you just walk in, and then there's the front office where they're, basically you call it a lobby. They're kind of small, though, where you have the people that are working the front door. And you just go in there and say, hey, my name's Timmychung, and I'd sure like to talk to the senator about the Second Amendment Preservation Act, and I'm here today, so I'd love it if he could make 2 minutes for me. And, of course, it'll probably end up being longer than 2 minutes, but that's all you do. So usually you can get in right away. But tomorrow is an interesting day. I'm not sure how many meetings there are going on and all that fun stuff. But at any rate, I would do it. If I had time, I'd be up there tomorrow. Absolutely, I would. But unfortunately, like I said, a scheduled call is preventing me from doing that, and I can't get out of the call because I'm working with another vendor. Let's see. If they're not there, leave your opinion with the office person. That's correct, Jimmy D. Yep, if they can't make time for you, tell them, hey, listen, I'm very, very angry and upset that the federal government seems hell-bent on taking away my Second Amendment rights. I need the Second Amendment Preservation Act, and I need it with all of its teeth to protect me and my kids. And I'm really hoping the senator agrees with me on this. And if not, I need to know that too. That's very important information for me for the next election cycle. So I need to hear from that senator. Yep, and it's senators only. There's Timmychung. Hey there, buddy. So it's senators. We don't need to talk to representatives at this time. It's already passed the House. So unless you just want to say hello to your rep while you're there, it'd be a waste of your time to go around and talk to representatives about this. Isn't that right, Timmy? Timmy, you want to come up? You want to come up? Come on up, Timmy. I got my dog here with me, gang. Timmychung, do you want to come up? Come on. Come on up. Come on up, Timmy. Come on. Oh. There we go. Okay, hopefully you guys can see the Chongameister. Here, Timmychunga. This is Timmy. So, he is very clingy right now because he lost his sister. He doesn't even know what happened, actually. So, sorry about that, gang, but he was here scratching at my feet here, wanting some attention. So at any rate, that's what you do. House people, they're important to talk to too, but this has gone beyond the House now. So we need to talk to our senators and our senators only. That's our best use of time. Also, RJ, if you go up there tomorrow, you want to Schatz, Senator Schatz. You definitely want to go to his office. Very important. Make sure you make time to go to Schatz's office, talk to him about the Second Amendment Preservation Act, and let him know that, because, by the way, he's the one who decides when it goes on the floor for a vote. So you definitely want to hit his office, no doubts. You may not be able to talk to him, but you could talk to his office people. And Kansas never backed up their law. Actually, we did a podcast about that with Ron Calzone last year, Parker. And Ron Calzone outlined, I don't want to go into it now, he outlined exactly what happened in Kansas in that podcast we did. So you could, and by the way, our Second Amendment Preservation Act would actually help prevent that. Ours is better written. That's correct, Jimmy D. That is correct. So, okay, do you guys have any questions? And those of you, by the way, who are in other states, you look at my previous, I don't have it up right now, but look at the previous videos I put out on this. The Second Amendment Preservation Act, you can download it. Literally, I mean, you could print it out on paper. It's 5 pages long. And you print it out and then bring it to your state representative or your state senator and say, give me this. All they got to do is just take out, Missouri out of it and take out the statutes and put their own state name and their own statutes in there. And then hand it over. And by the way, I got to tell you, I talked to, the folks that were involved in writing this bill. And there's no copyright on this. And they're honored, absolutely honored, when someone takes language out of the Second Amendment Preservation Act from Missouri and include it in their bill. And in fact, the Second Amendment the 10th Amendment Center actually recommends that. They actually recommend that you take the language out of the Missouri bill. They found it to be the best bill in the country, is what we have here in Missouri. But it won't be if the MSA gets their way. That would be a seriously watered down bill. In fact, it's not even worth it anymore if that happens. So remember now, you've got opponents to the bill running around in Jeff City right now as we speak. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So we have to somehow be represented too, gang. We have to, and that's another thing. There's not people going around Jeff City, asking for this or saying, or not asking for it, demanding it. This is what we want. This is the Second Amendment Preservation Act in its current form. This is what we want. We don't want it watered down. And the whole idea of this, gang, is to get, hey there, Timmy, is to get the Fed out of law enforcement of the Second Amendment in the state of Missouri. We don't want them here for that. So they can come in, even after this, if this bill is passed, they can still come in. But with the anti-commandeering doctrine, they don't have access to any Missouri resources. They can't pull equipment or personnel for actually trying to enforce a bill. Timmy's going to fall here real quick. So they can't pull any of our resources to actually go after people for second. They have to come in all by themselves with no help, no intel. Just go in and do it all by themselves. And that's how you starve them. They don't want to do it that way. They want access to our resources and our personnel. Wearing guns and badges. Okay. Anyone have any questions or anything? By the way, I will be putting out another video because I think we're going to have more information here. Why can't use county jails? Or they can't use county jails. Technically, if the Fed comes in, let me put Timmy down here real quick. You got some good questions here. Hey, Timmy, come on, buddy. There you go. Okay, sorry about that, gang. I had to put my dog down there. Okay, here's the way it works. If the Fed comes in and wants to enforce some laws, they have to do so without any help of resources from the state of Missouri if this goes through in its current form. So that's correct. They can't use our jails. They can't use our personnel. They can't use equipment, our cars, anything, that Missouri actually does have for law enforcement. They can't use any of it. They have to use their own resources, their own personnel. And then no help from any sheriff, no help from any police chief. I mean, they just don't get any help. So at any rate, they can't use county jails. That would be correct. They wouldn't be able to actually incarcerate using our jail systems as well under the Second Amendment Preservation Act. Currently, they can. Now, we do have federal prisons in Missouri, so they would be able to stick them in their federal prisons that already exist. But they wouldn't be able to use county lockups or city lockups or anything else like that. Anything that's listed as federal and is federal, that spreads the feds way thin. That is correct. Jimmy D, that's what deters them from coming in and doing anything, is the fact that they have no resources if they come into the state and want to enforce a law. They have no help. They have to do it completely and totally by themselves. So, yep, no problem, Jimmy. Hard to work on the phones and stuff. I get it. Okay, all right. Any other questions, gang? Because I'm going to wrap this up here. We're almost at an hour. And once again, I'm sorry I did this during the day. This is the only time I had to do it. And I wanted to let you know what was going on right now in Jeff City. Just explaining to everyone. Yep, understood, Jimmy. So that's what we have going on right now, gang. Right now. I can't believe it. And the Missouri Sheriff's Association, it turns out, looks like they were, probably the problem all along with trying to get this passed ever since 2013. They've been in the background, lurking in the background, pulling strings, whispered, quiet phone calls, backroom meetings. No, we don't want to attack the MSA. We just need to be aware that they're the problem. Tell everyone, Jimmy says. I agree. There's no reason to attack the MSA. It's not going to get you anywhere. What you need to do is contact your senators and tell them you don't give a damn what the MSA says. A small nonprofit organization with like 8 people making a salary is literally wanting to shut down my rights because they want federal money. And they want federal money for their salaries. And because if they stop getting federal money, they don't have anything to re-grant to sheriff's offices. That's what I think's going on here. I can't be 100% sure, but that's what it's looking like. Making your citizen voice heard. That's right. So it's like when I went after Arnott. I know a lot of people were saying, well, as Sheriff Arnott in Greene County is what I'm referring to. There was no reason to attack him or go after. You're not going to change his mind. So I wanted to make everyone aware that Arnott was a problem for passing this, but I thought it might have been senators behind him. It wasn't. It was the MSA. The MSA was behind him the whole time. Same thing with Brad Cole. That's my sheriff right here in Christian County. And suspect, Stone County, I can't remember his name. Doug Rader. And I think those are the 3 that are really, really pushing these changes through the Missouri Sheriff's Association. So you just tell your senators you don't give a rat's butt what their opinion is. You want your Second Amendment rights guaranteed by the Constitution. And at the core of it is their craving unconstitutional power. That is correct. We can talk about that another time. Arnott loves his Fed money, especially since it looks like they're building the jailhouse in Greene County will be partially Fed because they're going to be housing Fed prisoners there. That would totally be gone and be done away with the Second Amendment Preservation Act. Unless it's actually in name a federal prison, feds won't have access to it. So, and then Arnott makes a lot of money from housing federal prisoners. It's all about money, gang. Your sheriffs are selling you out for a few short-term trinkets. Call your sheriff and find out if he's one of them. And by the way, there are good sheriffs out there. Trust me. I've talked to some of them. Jimmy's talked to them too. We have good sheriffs that do not support the Missouri Sheriff's Association. In fact, I know sheriffs that refuse to be a part of the Missouri Sheriff's Association because of stuff like this. So the good ones are out there. Call your sheriffs, find out where they stand. And then basically we can fill out Ron's map, basically of where the sheriffs are in each county, what they represent, what they're doing. That way we have a voter guide. We know sheriffs that we need to get rid of because they were anti-Second Amendment, anti-constitutional. And also we need to know on our senators too, but we'll get that information soon enough. We'll be able to find out which senators are against the Second Amendment Preservation Act. And now we know why. Is because the Missouri Sheriff's Association is funding these sheriffs, and these sheriffs are, probably, I don't know, talking to these senators and saying, hey, listen, man, I'm sorry, we're sheriffs, we're powerful, we're the top law enforcement, agency in the county. You need to go with us on this. Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. Gotcha. Okay, gang, well, I'm going to wrap it up here, unless you guys have any other questions, any comments, anything that you guys would like to say. And also, as Jimmy said, talk to your neighbors. Tell everyone. Tell everyone about this if you're in Missouri, because we need those phone calls. This is not a joke, and this is not a thing we can sit back and wait and hope and pray and use, cross your fingers, policy with this type of crap going on. We need to fight. We need to fight now. This is where we fight. So, any questions, anyone? Hey, Timmy, give me just a moment here. My dog is still all over me. Okay. I know with the delay by now, I'll give you guys a few more minutes here, or a few seconds here. See if you guys have any questions or anything. And I want to thank all of you for being here today. Thank you for taking the time to understand what's going on. And I'm sorry I went through those tabs up on top here first, but I wanted to lay the groundwork for what I was talking about, what the 10th Amendment Center is talking about with the Sheriff's Association. Get your sheriff to join Sheriff Mac Group. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Jimmy D. Okay. All right. I'll tell you what then. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here, guys. Want to thank you once again for joining. I want to thank you guys for, basically offering up your time. And to RJ, my prayers go with you, man. I'll tell you what, you're close, so I'll tell you what. I'm going to go ahead and email you when Jimmy D and I know we're going up there. And it's probably going to be early next week. Now, that's assuming things go well, literally in the next few days. So, basically, we'll keep you apprised of that. Tomorrow would be a good day to go up, though. Unfortunately, I just can't. So, all right, gang. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for, actually giving this some of your attention and caring about our Second Amendment rights. Once again, I know the big channels don't care about truth, money, and freedom, and they don't care about our channel. They don't want to mention us. But if any of you happen to be watching this, for the love of God, please inform your people on your channels about this very important legislation, and stop whining about what the federal government is doing and actually start doing something about it. Start advising people about what the Second Amendment Preservation Act is and what it does. If we have 10, 15, 20 states with this legislation, the Fed would be so starved for resources they wouldn't be able to do gun control laws anymore. They can pass whatever laws they want. They won't be able to do anything about it. That's what this is all about. Let's see. You made me aware of Wise Wolf on here. Oh, awesome. Change your title. Okay, thank you very much, actually. What should I title it, gang? Missouri SAPA Threat. How about that, gang? Missouri SAPA Threat. And then I'll change all the stuff in the video here after the fact. So this is what it's all about, gang. And by the way, Parker, if you've done business with Tony, I'm sure it was a very good experience. I've sent other people to him as well. He's been really good to them. I have no problem recommending him. RJ says, my wife is also joining me if the ladies would like to go. Absolutely. I like to watch channels in Missouri. Me too, Parker. There's a couple of gun channels in Missouri that have really seriously let us down, though, in a very big way. In fact, I don't even think I want to talk about it. I'm so angry with them. They should care. This is their state. And they're complaining about what the Fed's doing, but they won't talk about SAPA. And I think what it is they're monetized. Their channels are monetized. We are not monetized. You guys know this. There's no commercials on our channel. So we don't make money no matter what we do. So we tend to just go for, as many freedoms as we can possibly have. And it's the MSA. Okay. Okay, thank you, Jimmy. I'm doing that right now. And I'll capitalize the rest of SAPA. Okay, Jimmy, take a look at it now. I'll go change the rest of the date underneath. I'll get the tabs, make sure that they're in the description section so everyone can go look at what I was showing on the screen, like I always do. Okay, guys. Like I said, any further questions, comments? And by the way, once again, a strong, wonderful thank you to everyone who's participating in this and actually doing something in Missouri. It's greatly appreciated. Please chime in the comments section. Whenever someone contacts a representative or a senator or a sheriff, please put it in my comments section, because Ron Calzone comes to that comment section to gather data. So if you've contacted your sheriff or your senator, those are the ones that matter right now. Representatives, of course they matter, but it's out of their hands now because it's up at the Senate level. So please put that in the comments section whenever you do that. And I'm assuming you're okay with the title now, Jimmy D. The title should have changed in the live stream. It says Missouri SAPA threat dash, it's the MSA. Okay, gang, I'm going to wrap her up. Thank you once again for joining us, especially on short notice. Thank you for caring enough to actually help us out here with our freedoms, with our Second Amendment privileges. Given to us by God himself. God gave us these rights. The Founding Fathers said so. They've shrined it in our Constitution for a very specific reason, so that all these butt clowns in Washington, D.C. can't take them away. Well, they don't care. They're taking them away anyway. And there's nothing we can do about Washington, D.C. There's nothing we can do. If there were, I would tell you, there is actually something you can do, but it's not something you can talk about. So you work on the state level to, once again, 10th Amendment gives us the right to keep our Second Amendment. So that's what we're trying to do with the Second Amendment Preservation Act. Okay, gang, thank you once again for joining. Love you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for helping. Spread the word, please. Spread the word. Make those phone calls. Write the letters. Do visits. RJ, keep us apprised. RJ, I'm going to send you an email in a little while so you have my contact information. Thank you for helping out. You guys all take care. Thank you for keeping us informed and letting everyone know what to do. No problem, RJ. It is my honor to do so. It's my privilege to know the people that are actually doing something about it. So it's wonderful to make your acquaintance, sir. Thank you. And thank your wife for me, too. And guys, we'll keep pushing this more. And we're coming to the end of this legislative season. You're going to see a lot more data coming out really, really quick. Sojourner says, I am looking at the Citizens Rulebook, the Constitution, and Common Sense 2 booklets. Recap on our rights as we the people. Yep, recap on your rights. It's a good idea, Sojourner. And Sojourner, I know you're in Missouri. I know that you came in a little bit late, but you'll be able to watch it from the beginning so you can see what's going on and what we're fighting against. And you guys all have a wonderful day. May God bless each and every one of you. Thanks again for being here, gang. Love you all. Thank you.